Moving right along, guys, I'd like to speak a little bit about multi-effects units. There's the new type and the old type. I use both. And let me explain about the new type and the old type. The very first ones that came out, specifically made by Boss pedals, they look kind of like this. This is a Boss ME8. I've got an ME6 in one of my pedal boards. I'm just showing you the ME8 because I had it lying about. But the good thing about these old ones, if you pick them up, A, they're not much money if you can find them, and B, they're very transparent to your guitar signal. You can put your guitar in and it will come out the other end and it will still sound like your guitar. It's basically a set of Boss pedals in a box. It really is kind of as simple as that. What I do avoid on these, and in most situations on the multi-effects units, is the distortion and sometimes the compressor pedal. But mainly the distortion in these is pants, so don't worry about those. You've got to get that somewhere else from either from your amp, or I usually put these in the effects loop of an amp, so I get the amp distortion, but going through the effects part of this. I use it for reverbs, delays, chorus, maybe a bit of compression. This is a later one, it's got more funky things, but in my other pedal board, which we'll get to later, the big pedal board, I've got an old first version of this called the ME6. But down here, I've got a more up-to-date version. It just happens to be a Boss Gt3 because I got one of those when they came out. The processing power on it was fantastic. If you can think of a sound, you can program it. They're all basically the same. All the companies, they want you to get the same kind of vibe out of it, the same sounds. But it's up to you to get the sound out of these things. They have the processing power, but you've got to have the brain power to get the sound that you're after. When you usually buy these things, they have factory settings which are way overboard, and they want to show you, you know, what it can do. And usually it's too much of everything, too much reverb, too much delay, too much of everything. So build your own patch in a way that we've kind of thought about, the way I've talked about the basic sounds of a good distortion sound, a good compressive sound, the delay, and then go from there. But I'm going to show you some of the sounds I've used which are a bit out there. Basically, this will do all the usual sounds, the distortion, the wah-wah, the chorus, all the usual sounds that you associate with. I'm going to show you some of the more funky stuff that it's just out there. And I use it in tracks and backing tracks. I use it as textures when I'm recording in studios. It's handy, it's quick, it's instant. Usually when you're in a recording studio, time is money. So if you can say, check this out, gling, spling, fadoom, usually the guys are, you know, satisfied, the engineer's happy, everybody's happy without wheeling in huge cabinets, amps, and racks and racks of gear. You can get this. I know it's probably the wrong mentality that you're not going to wheel racks and racks of gear in, but sometimes, you know, you've only got a hatchback and there's only so much gear you can car about yourself. If you haven't got people setting up your own gear, then you've got to carry it around yourself. So let's go through some sounds and see what you think. Okay, the best way to run these modern multi-effects units is into a stereo power amp. That's kind of what they're designed to do, but you can compromise by using two clean amps or even one clean amp, as long as it's kind of clean and powerful, and all of the tone and the signal is coming from the multi-effects thing, and your amp isn't distorting or creating too much tone on top of that. I'm running it into a stereo power amp. So I'm going to run through some sounds for you. That's a basic clean sound. It's got a kind of a plate reverb on it. It's handy just for general vibing and general groove sort of. But clean and dirty sounds, you've got so many options. Think of any clean sound, any dirty sound, and basically you'll get a close approximation of what you want. So I'm going to just move on to the more weird stuff, because that I use for textures. Here's a weird sound. It slices the sound up, and I'm controlling the speed of it with the expression pedal that's on the on the unit, but it's pretty weird, and it's great in a track when you can slow it up and speed it down or pulse it in time with the track. So what else we've got next? We have I think a pretty cool dirty sound that I can control the amount of distortion I want coming in and out. Next, I kind of I like that univibe sound, and I've kind of created a univibe pedal type sound. Let me just find it. It's Gt3 number 4. This is a phaser. This is it's under the phaser heading of the multi effects unit, but I can control the pulse of the phase, and it sounds very much like a univibe. Pretty convincing. I've got a thing in here which is the whammy pedal. It's copying the whammy pedal. In other words, it's you can treat whammy pedals. They're good for just weird whammy pedal things. It's just if you can find a use for it, great. But it's one of those pedals that you can't overuse, like I did just then. Next we have. I'm really into reverbs and delays. Reverb is a big kind of textural thing. You have to have an instinct and an understanding of reverb to use it tastefully, but hopefully this will show you what I mean. Let's find it. I like that sound a lot. I use that a lot for backing tracks. And, get rid of the keyboard player and do it yourself. That's what I say. This is a kind of a dirty sound. Again, I can control the amount of gain I have on it. obligatory, using the reverbs again, obligatory kind of jazz sound, which is quite nice. It's just unobtrusive, but just tasteful. This is a sound I use quite a lot. It's a tremolo. It's a tremolo sound, and I'm using the expression pedal in the unit to control the rate of the actual tremolo. If you imagine the signal going, you'll see what I mean. Here we go. Again, this is a kind of a reverb type sound using some delays and a wobbly but not overly done chorus. This is the sound I use a hell of a lot for backing tracks. So you might pick up some of these sounds on the backing tracks that I've put down on this DVD. But I call this sound a schlang. It's a guitar players will know what I mean. It kind of just goes schlang, really. What that sound is I'm using chorus, and then I'm putting, with the pitch shifter, there's a pitch shifter in here, I'm putting an octave above the actual note. So you're getting pitch shift, chorus, bit of delay, and touch of reverb in there. That's it. And a lot of compression, gives that kind of fat sort of schlangy sound. Again, moving on to a reverb. Let me find it again. This is kind of a reverb and a repeating slow delay. It gives this kind of sound. This is a sound I use a lot. It's one of my favorite sounds. It's again with a pitch shift, a lot of chorus, some tap delay. I've called it 12 string. It's nothing like a 12 string, but you have to put a sound, a name with the sound so you can remember it in your settings. But it's kind of something like this. It's a cool sound. It's great for textural stuff, and again, getting rid of the keyboard player, which is what we want. This is a playing with delays. I've used this a lot in terms of it's good to what it's doing, the delay is holding what I play. It's going to hold it and keep it going until I decide to, with the expression pedal, pull it away. You'll see what I mean? But it's great to have it, to fade it in a track and sweep it across. It's just it's a kind of a weird delay thing. Let's see what happens. This is. I just want to do something else on this. This is cool for just some weird sounds and stuff going on. Any scrape or squack you make on the guitar, it'll keep hold of. Listen, I'm just going to experiment and see what happens. You get the vibe. You get the vibe. The next sound. This is all the new multi-effects have a harmonizer. They're an intelligent harmonizer. You program in what harmony you want, what key you're in, and it will give you the appropriate harmony of that key. I've got this just set, just for safety reasons, to an octave sound. Let me find it. Where is it? Did you spot the mistake? That was set to a fifth. Now I'm going to do it with an octave. Actually, I'm not sure what's going on there. I think it's a fifth with an octave. I can't remember how I've got it set, but you get the idea. It'll harmonize any key you want. So, I mean, there's plenty of processing power in these units. They're all basically the same. The newer ones, they're getting better and better each time. This is quite old now. It's worth nothing, but you can pick these units up for less than 150 quid. And it's a good stuff, a good tool to have for the studio. You've got plenty of options to DI in studio with pods and line 6 stuff. But if you can get into this, it'll DI as well. It's got speaker emulations. I've got into it. I've had it a while, and I just through doing a lot of recording. I know what sounds work. I dig it out for a lot of the weird and wacky stuff you just heard. We're going to move on to my gigging pedal board now, which is got an old multi-unit effect in, and I'll see you then. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the weird sounds that I've got going on there. Just to show that you can use these in the real world, I'm going to play a song with this unit.